Hi, I'm Sonja, and this is my husband Phil. Last October, we packed up our home near Edinburgh and moved to the Isle of Skye with our two little boys. Since then, we've been exploring our new home around Skye and getting settled into our new house, which is actually over 100 years old. We've been having plenty of adventures and finding some new favourite places to visit. We moved in the autumn and we were really lucky to have some great weather for exploring around the island. We also love having a coffee and maybe a piece of cake at a local cafe, so we managed to squeeze in a few before they closed up for the winter season. Thankfully, the Coffee Bothy in Broadford stays open all year round for our cake fix. Moving in autumn gave us time to settle in before the harsher winter weather hit. However, we did have some freezing cold frosts and our bin even froze shut. We also had to deal with our first house disaster, a roof leak in one of our bathrooms. Thankfully, it was all patched up before the real winter storms hit. The weather hasn't been all doom and gloom, as some would have you believe a Scottish winter, and particularly a Highlands one, can be. We've had some absolutely beautiful sunny days, although admittedly they have been a bit icy at times. I even continued my walks and swims all the way through the winter, as long as it wasn't absolutely crazy outside, of course. Obviously, we have had a lot of rain and hail as well though, even enough to flood our road. And there was that almost week of snow that thankfully melted before we all went a little bit crazy. Our spring is on its way and things are starting to open up again, so we're ready for some more adventures on Skye. It is the 1st of March today and it's an absolutely stunning day outside, although it is the first day that we had to de-ice the car in a while as well. Almost didn't make it to school on time, but thankfully we did. Normally we kind of check the weather and see if we think it's going to be a bit frosty in the morning and maybe park the car in the garage, but this time we didn't. We just left it out and didn't realise until I got up there. But that's okay. I'm just excited that it's March, I guess, and the weather is so good and lots of stuff starts opening up this month. So today Cafe Cuil opens up, and I think we're going to go try and go. I never got to go before they closed last year because they closed quite soon after we moved. And there's tons of stuff that's opening up by the 31st. So I'm going to slowly start ticking some things off my list that I want to do before the peak season hits, starting today, hopefully. Cafe Cuil was supposed to be a London cafe, but COVID saw the owner return to Skye and start something up locally instead. And lucky for us, because they have now become a firm favourite. They have really great coffee and they use lots of locally sourced ingredients in their menu. We've already been back several times and need to go again to try some more of their dishes. It's also very much toddler approved with a great kids menu. I've been meaning to do a house tour, but this is a big reason why I have not. I have since done a house tour, which you'll be able to check out if you click on the link that should appear on the screen now. Early March brought beautiful weather, and we really thought that spring had come early. We were able to get out and about with the boys all of the time. We had our first beach barbecue, amongst lots of other adventures too. And the animals were coming out as well. We saw deer, otters, and plenty of seals. It had been a year since we'd spotted our dream house online and decided to buy it without even seeing it in person and move to the Isle of Skye. And what better way to celebrate than go for coffee and cake at Amy's place in Torrin. The cake is delicious and the views are amazing. It kind of seems crazy when we think back on it now, but I think we made the right decision.
Hello
Hello, just sitting in our little office, which we have yet to organise. Can't see the mess, but it's all over here. I actually can't wait to tackle this room because I want to put up some nice shelves and get everything really organised. Maybe paint it a nice colour and be all inspirational. But yeah, anyway, just thought I would pop on because I wanted to discuss yesterday when we found a tick on our youngest son, who is 2. I think he must have picked it up at nursery the day before, but we didn't see it until the morning after. I don't know why, we just didn't, but he was lying on the sofa in his t-shirt, kind of ridden up, and I was like, what's that? It was a little black kind of dot, and I looked and I could see these teeny tiny little legs like sticking out. It was so gross. But yeah, I just looked at Phil and I was like, oh my god, there's a tick on him, and I have no idea what to do. Because, well, kind of, but neither Phil or I have ever had to deal with ticks before, and obviously it's something that, you know, we know they're a lot more prevalent up this way, and that, like, you know, chances are at some point we're going to have to deal with it. So I'm pretty sure we have a tick remover somewhere. No idea where it was though, of course, when we actually needed it. So I was like panicking, like, what am I going to do? Because obviously you want to get it out as soon as you can. And so we ended up calling our friend who lives down the road, and she came down and got it out for us. But yes, I'm now going to buy multiple tick removers and have them like in the car and in the house so that I know where they are, because I expect it won't be the last one that we have to deal with. I think he had been running around in like long grass and that kind of thing, and our kids love being outside and exploring everywhere, so I do think that we will have to be keeping a much closer eye on them now, because it's coming into the season apparently. I mean, some people say that there is no season, they're just all year round, but some people say this is when they're the most prevalent, even if there's not like a season as such. So for the next couple of months, so we'll just have to make sure we're doing like tick checks, I guess, after we come in from playing outside or going for walks and things. So yes, that was another new thing for us. Not my favourite new thing for sure, but yeah, yay. It wasn't quite officially spring yet, but the weather didn't know that, and it really felt like the winter was over. Obviously it was what you would call a false spring, although we didn't want to admit that. It is the first day of sunlight. It's the first day of kind of spring, and look at this weather. It is so amazing. Cannot wait for more long evenings like this. Day 2 of spring, just done the school drop off. Kids screaming, running into school because the wind and the rain is so insane. This is me like soaking wet. But yeah, yay spring. Obviously the weather took a turn for the worse, just in time for my parents to arrive from New Zealand for a visit. It was time for me to play tour guide on Skye for the first time. We started off with a visit to the Oyster Shed, also in Carbost. It's been there since 2012, but we first discovered it on a visit in 2020. They offer a range of seafood that you can either eat there or take away. I took my parents to the Oyster Shed in Carbost earlier today, and we had some really good oysters there, and then we brought home half a dozen of the large oysters, which are basically the biggest oysters I've ever seen in my life. That is literally not even the biggest one in this bag. So now we're going to open them up, which is something I've done before but not for a while, so we'll see how we go and give them a taste, because poor Phil missed out because he was at home working. But yeah, it's amazing how massive they can grow.
You can have people writing into you saying,
You're doing it
stab
wrong.
yourself in the hand.
I'll spare you the length of time it actually took me to get the oysters open, and how awfully I did it for the first few at least. There's definitely a knack to it, so maybe ask for a demonstration if you're going to take them away yourself. Yum! Look at that! Huge! Yesterday we drove down to Elgol and we went to the Creel, which is kind of like a little seafood shack. Anyway, definitely recommend the Elgolian, I think it was called, which is like I'm going to get this totally wrong now, lobster, but it's not lobster, Scott lobster roll, and it was so good. I've never tasted it before. It's kind of sort of a cross between like lobster and crab and shrimp, maybe. It's hard to explain, but anyway, the point is, as we were driving down, it was absolutely freezing, and you could see that it was kind of snowing a bit on the tops of all of the mountains. And the woman who runs it, who is lovely, asked us if we had seen any lambs on our way down at Torrin. And actually, my dad had spotted one, and she said it's called, oh, that'll be why it's so cold then, because this is called the lambing snow, or snow of the lambs, because what happens is that when the first lambs are born, basically there is like a cold snap and quite often snow, and so they call it the lambing snow, and that's what this is. So I knew that we were going to have cold weather again before, we get into like a real spring. So hopefully this is it. Hopefully it doesn't snow much more, but it's actually really pretty to see snow on the top of all the mountains again. So I came for a drive down to Torrin, so I could see them a bit more today, because it has cleared a bit and we've got almost blue skies, whereas yesterday we could only just see the tops of the mountains on our drive to Elgol, and we couldn't see them at all on our way back. So yeah, you learn something new. Thankfully there's been no more snow since then, although the weather has been really changeable this spring and keeping us guessing, with some sunny days followed by complete wind and rain. We've been doing lots of exploring and showing my parents around Skye, and going to plenty of places that we've never been before either. I can't wait to show you guys what we've been up to on our adventures around Skye. We're officially well into spring, and everything is opening up for the summer season ahead. There are so many more adventures to come.